Don't let them swindle you. Make sure you choose the one that works for you, because they're gonna try and swindle you, okay? They're gonna try and talk you out of it. They're gonna be like, no, this is not like that. This is perfect. You can just do. They're lying, okay? They're lying. Make sure you say, no, hold up, that don't make no sense. Why would this be like this? Why would that be like that? Can you go down there and show me? Can you go up here and show me? Show me where this is. Show me where that is. Ask them 50 million questions, because they're getting your money, okay? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jamillia B. Thank you for tuning in. If you watched my last video, I talked about choosing the right lot and things to ask when doing so. And I mentioned that I was going to make another video about it, so here it is. When we did close on our home, we have been in our home for almost 3 months, and we put in our offer last year in March of 2019. Now, when it was time for us to choose a lot, we did look at a home that was already built, and the lot had this really deep slope in the back underneath the deck, and we did not want that at all. So that's why we did not want that property. And so when we started to look at new areas, we looked in a cul-de-sac, and we were told that there was not going to be this deep slope, which turned out to be a lie, but there was not going to be the same deep slope that there was on that property, and we wanted a specific lot in the cul-de-sac. We wanted to be a part of the cul-de-sac. For those of you who don't know what a cul-de-sac is, you can check out this image right over here or over here. And this, basically a cul-de-sac is a closed off area, kind of like a dead end. So a lot of people who have kids, family-friendly, neighborhoods have cul-de-sacs where it's a kind of safe area for kids to ride their bikes or scooter or run around and play, and parents don't have to worry about, you know, a busy street or anything like that. They're in that cul-de-sac space. And so we wanted to be a part of that cul-de-sac, but the lot which we currently do live on was not available at that time. We had to choose the lot over from us, which was technically on the street of the cul-de-sac, but off the edge of said cul-de-sac, which we did not want. So when it was time for us to choose the lots, there were no homes on these properties. Remember that, it's just land. So people are kind of walking you around and trying to explain to you what your backyard would look like, what your front yard would look like, where your home will go, and you have to try and envision that. And that's one thing that I regret. My mom was very big on that. She said, like, it didn't make sense to me and things didn't add up. And now that we're in this, she's like, you know what, I wish I would have pushed harder, because you guys were very like, yeah, we get it, it's gonna be great. And it turns out it wasn't. And she's right. I wish, you know, she did push harder, and we were wrong, and I'm okay with saying that. My husband and I, we were wrong about the land. We were lied to. We were told it was going to be a certain way, and it wasn't. We do still have a backyard, and we are very grateful for that blessing, but we still do have a slope that had to be fenced off, which is basically unusable land. But joke's on them, because our backyard's gonna look so bomb, they're gonna be jealous. So stay tuned for that. That's not gonna be this season, that's gonna be after the winter. There's no point in us doing the back area for it to be snowed on. So once it is springtime again, we will do a full backyard refresh, and it's gonna be so bomb that they're gonna wish they could be in our backyard. So anyways, basically when it came time to choose the lot, we're seeing just land, and people are trying to walk you through and say, this is what it's going to be, this is what's going to be. Something that's very important that I think you need to know is the law of your municipality. Yes. Municipality law of where your house needs to be from the curb. And that is not something that we were aware of. A lot of the people that we have as family who have houses, their homes are more so like in the city or in boroughs like Brooklyn, or, you know, or even in Jersey. And I don't really think those laws apply there, because you can have homes in different areas. Let's say the curb is here. I'm gonna put it this way, the curb is here. The home could be right on the curb, or 2 or 3 feet back. Whereas in certain smaller towns like we live in now, homes need to be a decent amount of way from the curb, which is a good thing. But also a bad thing, because then you end up with a lot of real estate in the front of your house that is not being used, and that's only a positive thing if you have a lot of real estate in the back of your home. But it also again worked out to be a blessing in disguise, because the first couple of weeks we had to seed our lawn ourselves, because what was done was trash. Sorry, the Brooklyn's gonna come out. It was trash. We watched them seed someone's lawn, and we understand why it was trash. But we ourselves had to reseed our lawn, and we're still in the process of trying to get it to come back and look like this beautiful lush green. And the amount of times that my husband has had to mow and trim and mow and trim, and then I trimmed once the edges, and I've seeded and I've watered and everything. I am glad for our decent amount of land, because I cannot understand for the life of me how you people with acres and acres and acres and acres, there's some people who have 7-acre homes. Now I know people pay for people to come to their home and do these things, but dang, just dang, I cannot, because I cannot. So anyways, choosing the lot, make sure you find out your laws of your municipality, I think I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I will correct myself next video. Make sure you find out that law of the distance the home needs to be from the curb, because then you'll find out how much of your back space are you actually losing when you thought if this is the curb, your home was going to be here, it's actually back here. You've now lost a certain amount. And there are some people who don't care about being on their front lawn. I know people will put benches and whatever. I'm not really interested in that. If I'm outside, I don't want people to be in my business. I want to be in my backyard and relaxing. So that's something that's very important. Also, you want to find out if there are any easements on your lot. Now, easements was something that we learned about when we had the land surveyed. That's something that you need to get done, whether it be for your closing process. It's something that needs to be done, but I think you need to take it a step further, where we were literally given boundary lines, which we had to pay extra for, but we know exactly where our boundary lines are in terms of our property. And in that property, or on that property, which majority of the properties over here have, are called easements. Easements are something that either belong to the town, city, state, wherever you're from. They might be called something else. It's things like electric, water, in your city or town, like I'm saying, where they need access to it. So we live in a town, and in that town, they need access to pipes that run under certain areas of our home, which is considered an easement, which is considered public property. And if you were to fence around that property and have, let's say, God forbid, a water line break for the town, they can bust down your fence and come in and bust into your ground and fix that pipe and not have to pay you back any money for any damages. They are not required to pay that. That is something you should look into. When you're picking a lot, ask them, are there any easements on this property? If so, where do they lay or where do they lie, so you know, how can I fence my property? And which is something that's very important. Once you have that survey done, you know where the easements are, you know where you can and cannot fence, or how you should fence, or if you should fence. I've passed a lot of homes where there are no fences, and I'm always like, they probably got easements all left and right, probably easements everywhere. So find that out. You want to find out, again, retract, curb, how far from the curb does my house need to be? So I find out how much real estate I'm losing in the back, or how much real estate I'm losing in the front. Are there any easements on my land that are going to prevent me from putting in a pool, or fencing the way I want to fence, or adding stone or pavers, or whatever it is you want to do to your area? You need to find these things out, which is very, 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 very important. Next thing, when you're picking out your lot, find out access. For example, how can ambulance, the fire trucks, police, how can they get to your home? Do they have access to it? How long would it take them to get in? Is the street closed? Is this area closed? Is there a fire hydrant within your area? How far? That's something your insurance company is going to want to know as well. But I think it's very important to know. This was something that my mom brought up to me, which was very important, because we're used to living in the city. When you're in the city, you have access to these things left and right. There's no problem. When you're living in a town, you need to make sure the ambulance can get to you. If there's an emergency, God forbid, fire engine, God forbid, police, if you know any of these things that you may need in a time that would be devastating to you. Minutes and seconds matter, and you want to make sure that these people can make it to you. So find that out. Where's the entrance and exit to my street? Where's the entrance and exit to my backyard, my front door? How long does it take me to get from the curb? How far is the hospital from this specific piece of land? How far is the fire hydrant from my property, where, God forbid, if there was a fire, that the firefighters can plug in their hose and get, I said plug in, but I'm very aware that they don't plug in a hose. But how they can get that water to my property to save. So seconds and minutes matter. We've all watched Grey's Anatomy. We've all watched firefighter shows like Station 19, Chicago Fire. We know those seconds and those minutes are very, very, very important. Okay? So anyways. What else? Choosing your lot. Also, when choosing your lots, I would want to know, with the neighborhood in general, what type of wildlife lives around your property or your soon-to-be property. We have a lot of deer over here. That's not something city folk, I'm gonna say city folk, are used to, okay? So seeing deer, worried about if deer are gonna eat my shrubs and do deer do this and that, like that's not something I had to look up before. Something else we had to look up are gophers. Y'all could have never told me I would be looking up how to repel gophers and deer and all that stuff. So find out what kind of wildlife are common to this area. For us, it's deer, it's gopher. Every now and then we see a squirrel now, but I didn't really see squirrels before. But those are things that if you're really into gardening and you want to like plant vegetables and fresh this and fresh that, you need to know, because these animals are gonna come tear up, these animals are gonna come tear up your stuff. So you wanna know what wildlife is common in this area so you can prepare for that if that is an area that you wanna be a part of. Something that is usually in the back of people's minds are property tax and how that connects to your land. A lot of times, majority of the time, you pay property tax in regards to the assessment of the value of your home. It's not the price that you paid for your home or the appraisal value of your home, but the tax assessor will come and give you, well, not give you personally, but will record what they consider the assessed value of your home to be. And that is usually never the number that you paid for your home. So for example, if your home was $100,000, your assessed value of your home is not going to be $100,000. It's usually less than that. But I'm pretty sure majority of the time it's less than that. I can only speak off of experience and things that I've looked up personally. I would also link some things below if you guys want to check out how that works, because that was very important to us to understand property taxes. You and your neighbor and your neighbor's neighbor may not pay the same property taxes. A good way to think about it is a pie is your neighborhood, and everyone has a slice of pie that they need to pay for. But your slice of pie might be slightly bigger than your neighbor's because your home might be slightly bigger, whereas your neighbor's slice of pie might be half of that because their home is considered smaller. So that is something that is important. You are considering how much real estate are you taking up of this property? How much real estate are you taking up of this pie? That's what you need to pay for your property taxes. So when you're choosing your lots, find out if you choose a bigger lot, most likely, I can't say that's your choice, but most likely you would choose a bigger home to fill that lot. And you might not be able to, in hindsight, afford that because, again, like let's say we use the $100,000 home where your assessed value might be $80,000 or $50,000 and your property taxes, this is just hypothetical. If your property taxes are this low, God bless you. But so your property taxes might be $2,000. Whereas if you choose the lot next to it, your property taxes might now be $3,000 to $4,000. So that's something that you want to consider, not just whether or not, oh, we love the land and we're going to build here, but the cost as a whole, whether a cost as a whole for your mortgage, your property taxes, and your insurance for that home as well, which is very, very important. Another thing that's really important when choosing your lot is finding out what bodies of water lie around your property, whether that be a lake, a pond, a creek, a beach, wherever it is that you're choosing property, find that out because that can affect the insurance costs of your property, and that can affect if you live in a flood zone or not. So you want to find out what your flood zones are. You can go on to FEMA. I will also link that website below and find out, do I live in a flood zone or will I be building in a flood zone area? Because then you're going to need flood insurance, because a lot of people don't know this, but your insurance company does not necessarily cover floods, and you will need to buy a completely separate insurance for that, which then will raise your costs monthly if you're doing an escrow account where you're putting money into your mortgage for your insurance to go into your mortgage, or if you're paying at the end of the year, that's another cost as well. So you may choose a different lot, say from this side of the street to that side of the street, where that side might have a pond and this side might not. That's going to affect you, and you might want to decide, you know what, I don't want that lot anymore because I'm now increasing costs for my family or increasing costs for myself if you're buying on your own because of that situation. So that's not something that people tell you often, but you want to find out what bodies of water lie around my property. Is it something that's going to cost me more money in the long run, or is it worth it for you? Because some people might not care about it, and some people don't get flood insurance, and it might be a risk that you're incurring yourself. But to each his own. I can't tell you what choice to make. I can only tell you what to look out for. One last thing I think everyone should think about when choosing your lot is the proximity of your lot to your neighbor's lot. And that more so means the distance from your house to your neighbor's house. Some people, this might not really matter. To us, this was very important coming from the city. My wish that I said I really want is to look out my window and not see somebody else's window, or to look out my window and not see somebody else across the street looking back at me, because living in the city, you get that often. People are looking out their windows, and that's okay, because I'm equally nosy like the grandma across the street. My husband says that all the time. I'm like the grandmas across the street looking out the windows. I am your grandma. I'm your neighborhood grandma who's like, who's that? What are you doing? Where are you going? What's that? Because I need to know what's going on to protect. Okay? We need to know what's going on to protect my family. So it's something that's important. You want to know, how close is the next house going to be built to my house on this lot? How much of this lot do I have? So if they tell you you have half an acre, you have an acre, let them lay that out for you and say, well, where does the next house begin from my house? So you can know how much space you really have between the two. And very, very important, when you choose this lot and you build your home and you get your home surveyed, make sure you get boundary lines. Now I say this because our neighbor, no issues, great people, don't know them that well, but I don't have any issues with anyone. We're very personable people, but we're very big on knowing what's ours. Okay, so when we came in, our land was surveyed, but there were no boundary lines laid. And we found out from our surveyor, yours might be different, hopefully it is, so you save some money. They don't lay the actual boundary lines. They kind of expect you to eyeball it based on the description they give you. Again, first time home buyer, I do not know how to eyeball how many hundreds of feet from my garage to the line north, east, west, south of the dew point of -2. That's not what it says, but I don't know how to do that. So it was important for us to pay the extra money to have them come in and put in actual boundary pins, which are metal stakes that they bang into the ground to mark your point. And to take it a step further, we went ahead and got masonry line, which is not a positive thing in the Black community. I'm so sorry, but that's what they call it. I did not name it that, but we went ahead and got that line from Lowe's where we tied it to those stakes and ran it so we know exactly because majority of the boundary lines don't go straight. They're not straight lines. It's not a perfect rectangle, a perfect square. They kind of go on a diagonal. So it was very important for us to lay that. And when we did have those when we did have those boundary lines put in, and we had that second survey done on our own, which was an extra cost, we found out that we actually had a little bit more space. So the neighbor was kind of crowding in on our space because they had been here already for maybe 6 months. And when they were mowing and doing whatever they were doing for their side, let's say this was the full area of that land, they were coming over here, when in all honesty, it's like more like a little bit over the middle. Like, hold up, that's more hours you need to move over. So again, not to cause any problems, but lay those things down early. When you're saving your money, just tell yourself, if they're not going to put down boundary lines, find out from that same survey company, how much does it cost? Because you want to kind of keep it in the same area. If they did the survey of the land, you don't want somebody else to come in and just mess everything up. So use them and say, you know what, we want to get boundary lines down. How much does it cost, and when are you available? And we want to get these put in ASAP before you think about, where am I going to put the pool? Where am I going to put the bench? This is so cute. This is so cute. The flowers, this. Before you do any of that, find out, because you could be crowding in on your neighbor's space, or your neighbor could be crowding in on your space. And it's just good to get that settled from the jump, because then there's less drama, if any, down the line. So those are the tips that I think are important when picking your lot. I'm sure this happens to a lot of people, but when choosing our lot, you do get caught up in everything. Like, oh my God, we're going to get a house. We're going to build a house. We're building. You get really caught up in the whole glitz and glam of everything and being excited about choosing. So I think you should really take a step back. Be excited in the car. Be excited before you get there. Be excited at breakfast or dinner the night before, whatever you need to do. And when you roll up in there, you roll up serious. These are your questions. How far back is my house going to be? How far is my house from my neighbor's house? Is there water around this house? What happens? Look it up on FEMA. Is this area considered a flood zone? How much extra is that going to cost me? I want a boundary line done once I pick my lot. Also, something that you might not think about, which is important for people if you don't like kids, you don't have kids, is this an area like a cul-de-sac where there's going to be a bunch of kids all the time? There's always kids outside riding bicycles, riding scooters, playing, running, screaming. You might not like that. Some people love love that. I don't mind. I have a child, so that doesn't bother me. But there are some people who don't have kids, or some people who don't want to have kids, and you might just want peace and quiet and personal time 100% of the day. Then that area is not going to be for you. Yes, people move constantly, but you have to ask yourself, am I buying in an area that is more of a family-based area where there are going to be kids? Or am I buying in a space where maybe you're off to the corner where you're not really going to deal with the kids, but you still get to enjoy the beauty of the neighborhood? So you have to find out what's important to you when choosing that lot. So those are just my tips. When we chose our lot, we did get swindled a bit for our back area, and when I do the backyard in the spring, I will talk about it. Again, they're going to be sad because it's going to be bomb, because the same thing with the front of the house. We changed so many things in the front of the house that it just gives you a completely different aesthetic to everybody else's house. It's just, I'm sorry. Like, I was talking to my mom. I was talking to my mom about this, and I said, like the Rihanna song, when you got the sauce, you got the sauce. You can't help people when you got the sauce, like, you know, and you do your research and you find out what's gonna work for your home, and then you make things look really pretty, and that's it. Like, what are you gonna do? It's not your fault. So I hope you guys will come back. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe if you enjoyed my video and my non-stop talking. If you enjoy it, come back, because I talk all the time, and I will have more visuals for you guys to share with you, things that we are doing in our home. I also will have homeschool videos. We are a homeschool family, so there will be videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I also will be having some workout videos because I'm getting older and I'm just trying to get my health together. I don't really give a lot of time to myself. I'm very much in mommy mode and wife mode and daughter mode. So Jamillia is usually on the back burner, and I'm trying, as I enter my next year of life, because my birthday is coming up this month, that I give myself some more time. So all of those things together, we can work on that together. Come on back to my channel, hit the subscribe button, and definitely come back and let's do our journeys together, because we are stronger in numbers, okay? And you can check me and I can check you and be like, no girl, Wendy's nuggets do not need to be a part of your everyday life. I don't know why someone would say that to you, but I don't know. But yes, you know, just because now all of a sudden you have easy access to a Sonic, which we didn't have in the city, doesn't mean you should go to Sonic all the time, or, you know, whatever, just saying, or ice cream all the time, because ice cream is just amazing. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning into my channel, and I hope you will come back next time. Bye, and good luck with choosing your lot. Don't let them swindle you. Make sure you choose the one that works for you, because they're gonna try and swindle you, okay? They're gonna try and talk you out of it. They're gonna be like, no, this is not like that. This is perfect. You can just do, they're lying, okay? They're lying. Make sure you say, no, hold up, that don't make no sense. Why would this be like this? Why would that be like that? Can you go down there and show me? Can you go up here and show me? Show me where this is, show me where that is. Ask them 50 million questions, because they're getting your money, okay? They're getting your money. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.